Hello everybody, my name is Marquita Powell. My instructor is Mr. David Larson for the UNV 108 University Success class. Today I will be talking to you about professional dispositions. I will be answering a series of 3 questions and I hope to answer them to the best of my ability. Question number 1 reads, what dispositions do you possess that you think will make you a successful teacher? The first disposition that I believe that I possess is high expectations. I have high expectations for myself, so what better not to have high expectations for my students? When you walk in my door, I automatically know that you are just an amazing person and successful person. And right then, if nobody ever has high expectations for you, I do. um, I would In order to make sure my expectations remain high for my students, I would try to identify their strengths and their weaknesses. Identifying their strengths and their weaknesses would allow me to individualize their instructions for each student, which that means pretty much mold my instructions around each student's. Although I know that it's very hard when you have, especially being a high school teacher, you have very little time to get your curricular through, your instruction through for the day. But I feel like with knowing your kids, it'll be easy. And I feel like if you individualize your instructions for them, you will get you will get their best work. Because there's so many different learning styles and ways for students that if you don't, then you will not get that best person out of them. So that is one thing that I feel like I possess is high expectations. And two, like I said, I hold myself to high expectations. So when the students come into the room, they will see that when I do everything, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And my things are individualized for myself in order for me to make sure that I can give my students great curriculum. Second one is diversity. I feel that me being a young Black female, I have encountered much diversity. I would make sure my students, I would try to cast light on the perspective of diversity. I would definitely make sure all of my children are comfortable with each other, and if they're not, then hey, we need to figure out what's going on, because I one thing cannot stand for people to be in the same room and you guys can't get along for a reason that you probably don't even know why you guys can't get along. So I will make sure that when you enter my classroom, we are a family. If you ever feel uncomfortable in there, we're gonna figure it out. And because there are times where people are uncomfortable, and it's not necessarily diversity based on race. It could be diversity based on your gender or your sexual preferences, things like that. So I will make sure that we put light on that, and know that we all love each other, especially when you step foot in Miss Powell's class. Second question is, what dispositions do you need to work on before you enter the classroom as a first year teacher? The first thing that I feel like I would need to work on is curiosity. I am a very curious person. But I think that I would need to work on trying to make sure I get that out of my students. Make sure my students think outside the box. Make sure that they ask questions. So I would need to make sure I work on that in order to make me a better teacher. So I would try to just do different things to work on that. Honesty. It's very hard for me I could take other people's honesty, but it's hard for me to sometimes be honest with others, just because I'm afraid of how they would take it. And then the third question is, what qualities should professional educators display? I believe that they should possess excellent communication skills. Patience, you've definitely got to have patience dealing with children. A positive attitude. Preparedness, you should always be prepared. I feel you should have an understanding of equality and also have great appearance for your students. Everybody take care and have a great one, and good night.